Hello, it's Adam Morrison. When it comes to top-tier contracting, my go-to choice is McGilvery Environmental. I know a thing or two about excellence, and that's exactly what you'll find with Kip McGilvery and his team. They're not just any contractor, they're the best in Spokane and North Idaho. From start to finish, they ensure your project is completed with the highest quality results. With years of experience and expertise, they handle it all. New construction, meticulous repairs, asphalt paving for residential and commercial properties, excavation, and even environmental remediation. So why wait? Reach out to Kip McGilvery Environmental today by calling 208-556-6384 for your free estimate. Don't forget to mention my name, Adam Morrison, and experience the difference McGilvery Environmental brings to the table. Again, that's 208-556-6384, McGilvery Environmental. My number one choice for all my contracting needs. M4 CPA is a family-owned accounting firm passionate about helping businesses and their owners create a secure future for their families. They pride themselves on the quality of their work and put their clients first, ensuring they get the attention and care they deserve. Their mission is to provide exceptional accounting services to help you achieve your financial goals. M4 CPA is all about building long-term relationships based on trust, integrity, and transparency. With a team of experienced professionals, they offer personalized solutions to meet your needs. If you're a Perimeter listener, here's an exclusive offer for you. Mention the Perimeter podcast when you reach out to M4 CPA and get a free business consultation to assess your financial strategies. So, if you're looking for an accounting firm that truly cares about your business, trust M4 CPA. Accounting you can trust with a personal touch. Learn more at m4cpa.com. Welcome to the Perimeter Season 5, Episode 23, presented by McGilvery Environmental, Idaho Central Credit Union, M4 CPA. Talking about the exit during the NCAA tournament on this episode, the Kennesaw State game, which was unique at the end, and then the Texas game. We did put out the Braden Huff interview, so I think people are happy about that.
Yep.
We had to hold it because of just kind of logistical things, and kind of by his request, he wanted to wait until after the season, which is totally fine, but it was cool that he came in and gave us a good interview. I think people will like it. He kind of, he's a quiet kid in front of the media, but when you get to talk to him, he was a little delight. It was fun. And so a good interview. I really enjoyed it. So if you obviously listen to this episode, check that one out. Then I think we have one or two more player interviews. We're still working out with the NIL side of that. So we'll bring those to people, but we're going to talk about kind of the end of the season a little bit. We'll probably maybe do another episode to kind of wrap things up after the tournament. It's kind of how I like to kind of put a bow on the end of the season, see who wins, and then talk about our deal. And then you kind of have an idea what's happening next year as far as portal and stuff like that. That kind of gets ironed out. So I'm not going to talk about that stuff today. I'll just kind of give a recap. Kennesaw State, interesting game to say the least. The first 10 minutes was probably the ugliest basketball I've seen in the NCAA tournament on both sides.
It really was.
It really was. I mean, it was not good. It was not clean. Both teams couldn't shoot. We didn't score a 10th point until 10 minutes in.
Yeah,
which is crazy. But to counter that is our guys did an excellent job defensively, and they didn't blow us out of the water. It was just a start where we couldn't get anything going, any shots to drop, no rhythm. You got to give credit to Kennesaw State too. Their plan was good. They're an athletic, long team. When you saw them right away, it was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. They ran the table in Conference USA, but you could see the live bodies.
Yeah,
good players, obviously. So I wasn't surprised that we weren't getting our way offensively, but it was like, okay, guys, just start making a shot. I mean, I think we started 3 for 17, and they started 4 for 16. So yeah, it was absolutely horrendous offensively. It had to be terrible to watch on TV. Obviously, I was sitting live, and it was terrible to watch live, and it was really frustrating because I was like, okay, like, let's put the ball in the basket, somebody. Like, I was getting to that point where, like, please. And then I think Graham picked up 2 fouls on a weird call, and then we went small, kind of with Worley and Davis being our quote-unquote bigs, or 4 or 5, even though positionless.
And we finally went on a run, and it wasn't because Graham was out. It was just we finally if something was new to the game, and we got out and ran. Defensively, started controlling the glass. They were really good on the glass. Kennesaw State was early. We were getting our butts kicked. Like we were down 7, I think, until the last media timeout in the first half. So it was like, man, this got changed, guys. We're getting pushed around. And then we go on in like a mini run, and we look up, and I think, well, we were up 6 at half.
Yeah.
And I was like, how the bleep are we up right now in this game? It was just an odd deal. We couldn't rebound the basketball. We couldn't get anything going. We shot 12 of 31 in the first half. That's 38%. They shot 10 of 31. That's 32%.
Wow.
We were 1 for 9 from 3. That's 11%. And then they were 2 for 10. Yeah. The only thing that was good in the first half, we were 8 for 8 from the free throw line. And I think we only had like 3 turnovers. We don't have the first half stats here, which is fine. But we had like 3 turnovers. And so we were taking care of the basketball. We just couldn't get anything going. But it was like, okay, we got a 6-point lead. Everybody's watching the tournaments. Obviously, I assume that people that are listening to this podcast watch it. Everybody, there's weird games, and you're never rarely blowing somebody out at the start, right? You know what I mean? Like it happens a little bit in some games, but if you watch a lot of these games, like it's always tight or perceived to be a close game in the first half.
Yeah.
So we started the second half, started to finally make shots, kind of flipped the rebounding deal. We ended up going plus 11 on the game, which was terrific, but that was it was weird. It was like mini runs, and nobody could like get a huge burst offensively. So if you got like a 4-0, 6-0 run, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it felt good.
It just, you know what I mean? Because it just was so tight. Graham was terrific. He ended up 19 and 8. But like I said, I thought Kennesaw State's plan was really good. Like defensively, they were really good. And then, let's see, Jalen was awesome, 12 and 12, 5 assists, 3 steals, especially late in that game. He was kind of our other ball handler because Braden Smith like sprained his ankle in the first half and barely didn't play, and then played 2 minutes the rest of the game. And Mario kind of struggled. He was 2 for 11. He did struggle. He was 2 for 11, 7 points, 8 assists, whatever. Then Davis was the other guy who played really good. He was at 17 off the bench in 25 minutes, 5 rebounds, had some really highlight dunks, plays, all the stuff that we've been talking about all season long. Just continued. He's continued to get better, and it's only going to improve, but it was just a slog fest, man. I mean, we go 20 of 23 from the free throw line. Like I said, we go plus 11 on the glass, 17 assists, 10 turnovers. It's not bad, but we shoot 39% overall, 25 of 63, 3 of 18 from the field for three-point line. Absolutely not very good.
No.
16%. They go 3 for 17 from 3. They go 21 of 58, 36%. So there was paint chips flying off the rim. It was terrible from all the bricks, and it was a win. We ended up winning by 9. It got tight a little bit down the stretch. There was the 4 calls. The first one was the Graham turn where he elbowed the kid in the face, and I thought it should have been a common foul but not a flagrant. I thought that was misinterpreted. I saw the play live, and then obviously if you watched it on television, he was still within his cylinder. So when you turn, even if you catch somebody, the rule is you're allowed your space. And if somebody's in your space, that's supposed to be a foul, even if you drill them. So my point is, yes, he committed an offensive foul. Technically, you could argue not, but if you turn and whack somebody in the face, I don't mind if somebody goes offensive foul. But it should have been a flagrant one. That's a bad call because, like I said, he was still within his cylinder. It should have just been common foul, move on.
Yeah.
And then they had the Mario defensively, and he took the first one on the chest. They were trying to post him up, and then the kid literally dropped his shoulder. And then the guy goes block, which is, it was like so bad. And this is like, again, if people have listened to my broadcast, obviously listen to the show, I've always tried to be as objective as possible. Obviously, I have a rooting interest in Gonzaga. We love the team. We love the program. It's been terrific, blah, blah, blah. But I got to tell it like it is. You know what I mean? And so if I said, like, if Mario didn't take the charge, I'd be like, everybody was misinformed. He took the fucking charge.
He did, yeah.
Like, it was textbook, second bump, chest. And then there was so Graham had 4, right? So he gets 4 fouls. And then there was the one where the kid catches it underneath, and they both, Mario and Graham, try to get out of the way.
Right.
Literally out of the way. And the trail bottom official calls a foul. He calls it on Graham, which was like both of them literally didn't touch. Like, it's not even like saying it, cliche wise. Like, I never got didn't get touched.
No, yeah.
Beep and 1 or whatever. And then he knows he fucked the call up. And then he switches it to Mario, which was the right thing to do. And so poor Mario gets disqualified because it's his 5th. And then the coach for Kennesaw State, Petway, goes absolutely ballistic because he's right. He's like, you called it on him. Like, so they fucked the whole thing up even worse. Is like, you make a bad call, then you switch it. So you have both benches like, you are terrible. I said it on the radio, and I didn't go overboard, but my boss was listening. He's sitting right next to us, and he was laughing. He's like, yeah, Mo, like, you basically said it was the worst officiating you've ever seen in your entire life. And I was like, that's the worst I've ever seen in a 4-minute stretch in a big game. And then I said, like, and it was harsh, but I'm like, those guys, you will not see those guys the rest of the NCAA tournament, because they grade every guy as the tournament goes along, which I don't think some people realize. Like, getting in the tournament's a big thing, but then you have to keep, on top of your game to make it to the next round. And for officials, I'm sure that the money's better, blah, blah, blah. It's more games. And those guys probably didn't. I'm almost positive they didn't make another game. I mean, that was the worst stretch of officiating I've ever seen, and thank God it didn't affect the outcome, because it was a close enough game that it could have.
It could have, yeah, absolutely.
That's why it was so, people were so upset. Coach Few was killing both, those officials. Coach Petway, who had a great season, blah, blah, blah. He was killing those guys the whole game. There was the play at the end of the half, which was so dumb too. Like, I get it. You have to be very matter of fact. But remember, the kid airballed the 3 at the end, and I thought that he got snake bit and got hit on the arm, but it wasn't enough. But I could see why Coach Petway was upset. It was right in front of me.
Yeah.
Airballs it, no call, and then they have to go and look at the monitor, and there's like 0.2 left, so both teams are like trying to go to their deal.
Right.
And Coach Petway literally sat there and fucking screamed at one of the officials for like 30 seconds straight. I don't know how he didn't get a technical.
Yeah, there was multiple times where I was like,
that's so, like, the officiating in that game, just on like an administrative level, was awful. And it's not even like the judgment calls, but like, one, you can't scream at officials. Like, you can get on them, but there's a line, and I thought he crossed the line a couple times. Not saying that he can't coach. I'm not saying that. But it was like, holy shit, dude, this guy's like wants to get one, I think. And then, like, the end of the game, where he has every right, Coach Petway has every right to be upset when they foul out our best player, on a phantom call, and then they switch the call right. I mean, it was like, holy shit, this is bad. But anyway, we get a win. We ended up winning by 9. Ugly. I said it on the radio. It's like there's a ton of Zag wins in the tournament. Obviously, it's one that nobody's going to want to rewatch,
right,
in the history of this program. And then, so we obviously moved on to Texas, and we got to watch them previous to us live, and we went early, just because I was like, yeah, let's go check it out. That AJ DeBonsta kid is everything that's everybody's talked about. Watching him live was impressive.
Yeah.
Looks like T-Mac to me, just a little bit less athletic, but he has the same build, same length, same, like, it's like, oh, that's Tracy McGrady, like the same thing. So I was super impressed with him, because sometimes obviously you're gonna be impressed, but sometimes when you hear and you're like, okay, I gotta see it live, and then when you see it live, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just confirms. You're like, I watched him on TV, like, yeah, he's really good, and then you see it live, you're like, oh yeah, he is actually 6'9", maybe 6'10". Like, yeah, he's got the ball on the string. Like, yeah, he can go get a ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, there you go. And you're like, oh, that's a number 1 pick. That's a number 2 pick. Top 5 pick. but Texas did an excellent job winning that game and moved into that that slot, and obviously we played them. You got anything real quick?
I would say, yeah, AJ's every bit of a first-round pick. When I was watching the BYU Texas game, I couldn't figure out who I wanted Gonzaga to play.
I know,
and because I mean Texas looked good, and so did BYU, and then as much as we talk about having momentum going into games, like Texas had won in the first 4, and then to go and then win a big game and get to BYU, I was just like, I feel like we're running into a trap.
Yeah, no, it was one of those deals where you're like, okay, this is obviously a good basketball team. It's a team that's crazy that they're 11 seed.
Yeah,
right? I mean, I know their record was 18-14, but it's like it's Texas basketball. It's Texas, NIL, all those things.
Yeah.
So it was a different 11 seed is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, when I was watching the game, it's like, yeah, who do we want to play? You know what I mean? 'Cause both were good. I thought with BYU, the only advantage we would have had, just I don't know what decided advantage, but is BYU had a shit ton of fans there. They always travel good. So it was like, shit, if we play them,
it's going to be packed.
It's going to be packed, and it's going to be a pro, BYU crowd, which we can play that stuff, but it's just like, and poor Texas, they usually travel well. It's one of the biggest universities in the country. They just, you're in Dayton, then you got to fly to Portland, and you don't know, like it's kind of a gamble. So anyway, that regard, and then like it was kind of like the old BYU rivalry would have been neat.
It would have been, yeah.
But anyway, it didn't happen. So we play the Texas game, and I thought going into it, especially the start, it was like, okay, offensively, I think
The Perimeter will be right back after a word from our sponsor.
It's time for Home Team Rewards. Zag fans, get your Bulldog branded ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card, the only card where you can earn rewards for everyday purchases while giving back to Gonzaga University. Choose from a Visa Rewards card with a lower rate or a Premier Rewards card with maximum rewards. With no annual fees, card control, and next level security, you can spend smart from tap to app. Zags, rejoice! Find your card at iccu.com/gozags on approved credit.
I thought going into it, especially the start, it was like, okay, offensively, I think we're going to be fine. It was more of the who or what's going to score for them, and who do we have to eliminate scoring the basketball. And, we did a pretty good job on the Vocatitis kid for the most part. He got some buckets down the stretch. But I think in the first half, both teams played really good. It was actually a fun game to be a part of and call, just because ball was going in the basket. I mean, we shot 15-29, that's 51%. They shot 16-31, that's 51%. Both teams couldn't shoot it from 3, 2 for 8. Texas, 2 for 9 for us. Hardly any fouls called, and it was like correct. You know what I mean? You didn't feel like the officials were affecting the game in a negative way. We had a lead at 28-20, and we're making a nice little run. And then to Texas' credit, I think that's what I saw, was like a 15-2 run or something like that, and got back in the game, and it ended up being 35-33, and they made a 3 at the end of the half.
Yep.
So that part was a little disappointing, not to be able to extend that thing to 14 or something. And that's, I could say that every single time. But Texas made their run, and it was like, oh, man, we're down 2, which is fine. But it was like, I thought we played better than them.
I thought we did too.
Yeah, offensively, we were flying around. Guys were scoring the basketball. It was just such a better game to watch, just in general. Both teams, like I said, were cuts, and Manny had some great cuts. Ace had a great cut, and then Davis had one good cut in the first half. And so I was just like, yeah, man, this game favors us better, just than Kennesaw State, because it's just a more free, open style. So like I said, we go in the half, we're up 1 on the glass, taking care of the basketball. Both teams are hardly turning it over. And then we get into the second half, we can just really got bogged down offensively. We couldn't score in spurts. We ended up shooting 12 of 31, 38%. 4-16 overall from 3. Again, that's something I'll touch on after this. 10 of 12 from the free throw line, so great. About the only guy who played a solid game for us, well, there's 2 guys, was Graham. He played all 40 minutes. I thought he was an absolute warrior, had some big buckets down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Vokatitis got into it, and I thought Graham kept his composure. When they called that double foul,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that. I said on the air, that was like the best officiating I've seen in a long time. Instead of like picking a side, obviously you rarely see double fouls.
Right.
They just called it, and both of the ref, like literally, I saw him. He's like, "Stop it!" And he called it on both of them. He's like, "Calm down."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then play on. You know what I mean? It was like, "Thank you, finally, good officiating," because they both were beating the shit out of each other.
They were, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, instead of picking one guy, you're gonna piss off. It's unfair. Double foul, and he like literally was like, "Stop it!" And as he went to report, you know what I mean? And they both stopped. Like, I'll bing you guys again. You know what I mean? Like, so that was good officiating. But I thought Graham kept his composure. That Vokatitis kid was he's a big kid, man.
Yeah.
And Graham ends up having 25 and 4, shoots 10 of 22, solid. 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Jalen had 10. Manny had a terrific game. He had 9 points, 4 assists. And then other than that, nobody really scored the ball. Davis didn't play great. He had 6.
Yeah.
3 and 9. Tyon Grant Foster had 7. Adam Miller didn't play good. He only played 9 minutes, so it's not his fault in that regards. Mario wasn't good. He was 3 for 8, 1 for 6 from 3. 5 assists, 1 turnover, 9 points. So we shoot, like I said, 45% overall, but 12 of 31 in the second half. So we go 51 to 38 in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
It just got bogged down defensively. Offensively. I thought defensively we were fine. They shot 51% again, but I didn't feel like we were like late on anything. I thought they just made some plays. That Swain kid just was good. He had a couple just ripping drives and finish at the rim.
Yeah.
And then the Vokatitis had a good game, and then the Jordan Pope was solid, the jump shooter. You rarely see that now, but he shoots mostly jump shots, and it's like, kind of refreshing. But Sean Miller lets him shoot. He had 17 on 7 and 18, so not the worst, but not like killed you. The biggest one was the kid off the bench, the Nick Cody. He averaged like 3 points. He had 12 against us, 5 of 6. Scored almost every time he touched it. Good, solid, big. And just the game kind of got away from us. Couldn't make a 3. I thought when we were down 1 and that play developed, they put in that Heidi kid, the transfer, the white kid
From Purdue,
and they put him in as a shooter. He barely played in the second half. He played like 30 seconds, and that was it. And what the play was it was an overhelp by one of our guys, and that's how he got the wide open 3. It was one of those situations where up 1. Again, this is Monday morning quarterbacking, and obviously that's what I do on the show, but you can't help in that situation. You got to stay at home, especially up 1 if they still score 2. Obviously, you're only down 3. Easier said than done. I've been in that situation where you go think you can go make a play, and then you get caught, and that's what they ran. They did that on purpose. Is they ran a post up, and then they had backside action to see if you fuck up. Here's that extra pass, and we loaded up and made the pass, and you got to give credit to the kid for making that shot.
Yeah.
I didn't like at the end when we are down 4, taking a contested 3, especially in the bonus. You got to put it on the floor and still try to extend the game.
Yeah.
Again, easier said than done, but there's still plenty of time to turn the corner. They don't want to foul. If they do foul, you're going to the line, you set up your defense. Theoretically, you make them, you're down 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the contested 3 by Mario was not the shot that I was pleased about. Obviously, it's a scramble time, late clock. You're still, against the barrel, but you still the idea, and I profess to this too, is you just make the game as long as you can. Always when you're down, you go score, timeout or foul. You just make it a free throw, and you just keep making the game pressure on them. Because guys don't want to foul.
Right.
They're just like, they get out of your way sometimes. Let's let you lay it up. So that part was not ideal. but the score was tied 8 times. Points in the paint were 46 to Texas, 46 for Texas, 38 for us. 10-6 fast break for Texas, so not a big difference there. Second chance, 9-7 us. And the lead changed 10 times, so it was a terrific game. Obviously it's not the way you want to end your season, but it's a unique 11 seed. I just got to make sure people understand that.
Right.
And it's not an excuse, but like this isn't Cinderella we're playing against. I mean, honestly. People are upset, and you go online and you see like these crazy not conspiracies or just theories and stuff, and it's like, we went to 9 straight Sweet 16s. Last year we ended up losing to Houston, who's really good. I think this one just kind of got away from us, but it wasn't like a massive upset. I think the line was like 2.5 or 1 or 2
Right.
to start the game. So basically a pick 'em. So why I say that is that Vegas, Vegas knows.
Vegas knows, yeah.
Yeah, Vegas has a pretty good feel on stuff. And so yeah, it was rough. A little disappointing, obviously, and felt bad for our guys, especially like Graham. Graham was just such a warrior for us.
He was
terrific, and he showed up to play, and we just couldn't make shots in the second half. It's kind of the thing for this year. If we've got to be completely honest, 31-4 is a damn good season, and like I said, we'll have a recap. But if you look back, kind of our thorn in our side was 3-point shooting, and it's not always it, but you can't go, what was it, 4 for 16. You got to get to the 7-8 makes a game, even if you're at 35%, 36%. If you can get the 8-9 makes a game, and then every once in a while you get the 14s, it just changes the complexion of your how to win.
Yeah.
And so I think when people are frustrated, which I understand, we have a great fan base, and we have visibility, and we have people that actually care. Obviously, we're not a football school, and then our success, but also it's like it's not a scheme thing, man. Like if the guys don't make the shots, like I've said a million times, it's like a make or miss league. It's so true in all forms of basketball. You got to put the ball in the cup.
You do,
and you can run whatever, you can scheme. Like I said, I thought defensively our plan was fine. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously they shot 51%, but you're not. A lot of their buckets were just like talent buckets, and that's what you got to do in the tournament. You just go, okay, we're going to run our action and throw it to your best guy on the right side and go score, get a good shot. And we just couldn't do that in the second half. Our perimeter guys. So yeah, frustrating. I think I share the sentiment with a lot of fans. Just that the 3-point shooting was frustrating this year. And I could sit here and hammer some of the decision making some of our guys did, but I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's valuable.
No.
And they're still amateur players technically. That makes sense, but I just don't see that the value in that. But also, I think the thing for next year, and it was kind of addressed this year. It was supposed to on paper was perimeter shooting, and again, it's got to be guys got to knock them down. And it's not a company line stance saying that. It's just the reality. You know what I mean? So I'm not just saying that because it's defending the brand or whatever. If you don't make shots, it's hard.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Like I did not get on social media too much the last 2 days, but the couple things I saw are like people saying Fuke should get fired, which is dumb, and Coach Fuke can't make the 3-point shots.
No,
so it's just
no.
Like the scheme was there. It was they
were good shots.
They were.
We had so many wide open, especially to start the game too. And again, like I say, when I talk like that, I always try to make it where I don't like guys that always bring up themselves when they played. Because to me, it sounds a little narcissistic, and it's easy to point like, "Oh, you did that," but it'd be easy to point me like you couldn't fucking guard anybody at them, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It would be so easy for guys to be like, "Well, you know what I mean?" And so, like, I always try to taper it, and we're like, and the game has changed. Like, its play style is way different than when I played. But you got to make an open fucking jumper, man, every once in a while. I'm just being real. And then that's where it gets frustrating. And so when I try to talk about it, I try to give the context of just the modern basketball, not, when I played it, it's like the game was different. Mm-hmm. But you got to make an open shot every once in a while.
Yeah.
And you got to string them together. So hopefully that will get addressed. And like I said, it was addressed on paper, but just couldn't find it. And 31-4 still a pretty good season.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how the rest of this bracket works out on that side. But got to watch Arkansas play, and after, because we have an hour post game show, so we got to see that about the first 8 minutes of that game. High Point is live too, by the way. Their fans are fucking awesome.
Are they?
Oh fuck, dude, they're awesome because they're like, from what I understood, I just did short research, on them. They're kind of like Grand Canyon, where they're like I don't know if they're a for-profit school, but that's what it may seem like to me.
Yeah.
But they're like, it's a very nice school, and they're just like so happy to be there. Like they were all into the NCAA tournament, which I love.
Yeah.
Like they were fucking hyped. They flew out. Did you see that? They flew out 200 of their students on a charter plane.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
That's really cool.
You know what I mean? And apparently they actually like do have like a legit NIL, for a mid-major or whatever. Mm-hmm. They play a fun-ass style to watch. Like that was a fun, like 8-9 minutes of the game. I was talking, I was like watching the game too. And then that A-Cuff kid could fucking go, man. Holy shit. Like he had 36 that game, but just watching him live, it was like same thing with the Bonsa. I was like, oh yeah, there you go. It's like, it's one of those things that, I know it's not an NBA podcast, but there's like three guys, four guys that you could argue for a number one pick, and I literally think it will boil down to like what a team needs. Get out of Kansas, Patterson could be a number one pick. A-Cuff, Bonsta, and then Boozer. And it's like, do you need a scoring guard? Do you need an athletic wing? Do you need a 2 or do you need a 4?
Yeah.
Like it literally, and you could be fine with most of all of them. So it was cool to see those guys live, because I think some people don't understand like how good, especially like scoring little guards are fun to watch. And A-Cuff is smaller, so everybody likes that shit, and watching it live is like, oh yeah, dude, like buckets. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, so tough break. There's always next year, all those things, all those cliches come out, but great season. Again, we'll talk about, once this year is over with, I'll talk about the NCAA tournament, and I'll kind of give my end of the season thoughts on player movement, potentially, all those things. And I'm not going to hot take anything, so just people hopefully expect that, but like where I think the roster structure goes, moving into the Pac-12. We'll talk about all that, but I think it's fair to watch the rest of the NCAA tournament and see how that shakes out. And then I think transfer portal stuff starts around then too. So we have to see, if I did that before, not knowing if any of our guys are going, I have no clue. Literally don't. On the best of from the Inlander, drum roll, we got second. And Dave and Molly actually, that used to be like the KZZU, right?
Yeah, they used to be Dave, Ken, and Molly.
Yeah, so like losing to them is completely fine.
Yeah,
those are all-time legends.
To give a bit of a history, like Dave, Ken, and Molly won the Inlander Best of Local Radio Team for like 20 plus years.
Yeah, no, they're terrific.
And then they got fired from KZZU, and
oh yeah, everybody was pissed off.
Everyone was upset.
Kind of like, didn't they just pull the rug out from them too?
They did, yeah.
Bullshit.
And so
they should be allowed to like go out on their terms, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, they're local legends.
They're legends.
Yes.
I was listening to them when I was in like elementary school. Not even kidding.
Yeah,
like
no,
the
absolutely.
morning in the KZZU, like the zoo. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
And so then they started a podcast right after that, and they won it last year. And
good for them.
Yeah, and they're great.
We appreciate people voting, but like I said, like losing to them or finishing second there's no shame in that. They're absolutely legends. Them and the Radio Men. I'm going way back with 98.9 or Breakfast Boys.
Yeah,
Breakfast
no, that's
Boys.
them. Dave and Ken were the Breakfast Boys.
Okay, but who was the radio man on 98.9?
Oh,
they were good too. Anyway,
yeah, no.
we were just going like way back Spokane.
Way back Spokane. That's old school Spokane.
Old school Spokane, but yeah, they're absolute legends. So thank you again. Excuse us. Thank you for voting. Really do appreciate it. Like I said, second's good. Like we wanted to win, but like I said, we lost a good like they're legends.
They're legends. They've never finished second in any category they've ever been in.
Well, there you go.
So there, yeah. And then I also wanted to thank everyone.
The Perimeter will be right back after a word from our sponsor.
It's time for Home Team Rewards. Zag fans, get your Bulldog branded ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card, the only card where you can earn rewards for everyday purchases while giving back to Gonzaga University. Choose from a Visa Rewards card with a lower rate or a Premier Rewards card with maximum rewards. With no annual fees, card control, and next level security, you can spend smart from tap to app. Zags, rejoice! Find your card at iccu.com/gozags on approved credit.
You've ever been in.
Well, there you go.
So there, yeah. And then I also wanted to thank everyone who signed up for our last minute perimeter bracket challenge, something that we've never done. And
yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it from here on out.
And it got 55 people signed up and have a couple of good brackets left. 16 people of the 55 picked Gonzaga, including myself.
Yeah.
It's just something I do I don't think I've ever not picked Gonzaga.
So true story, I haven't filled out a bracket in probably 15, 20 years because of that. I'm always like, well, and then you were like, you want to fill one out? I'm like, I'm going to have to go Gonzaga all chalk, right?
Right.
So I'm like, nah, just, you know what I mean? It's just, it's interesting. But I haven't filled one out like no BS for like 20 years just because I was always either playing, or I'm just going to pick Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Or now I work for it, and it's kind of like that weird gambling thing. So I just stay away, stay with it, even though it's harmless now. So I just stay away from it, but I appreciate people, signing up. It's been a good tournament so far.
It really has. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, like, because I think it was the Big Ten went 13-3, and I think they have 6 of the 16 in the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
and it goes back to people need to start realizing this. You see how good they were in football, obviously. Okay, what's the common theme? I mean, Indiana wins it out of nowhere. What's the common theme? The big NIL deal. And they
absolutely.
have a massive endowments, and then they have massive alumni bases. So your net is way bigger, and your chance for one of your alums to be super rich or successful or multiples, it's just what it is, man.
It really is.
And
I mean, looking at who's left in this bracket, it's nothing but
Nebraska is in the Sweet 16, and that's not a knock. Hoiberg's a terrific coach. He was terrific at Iowa State, but like, they've never won anything in basketball. They got the right coach, and then they can get some guys.
Absolutely.
Like Indiana. I'm making the deal. And so I hope people understand that it's a different landscape now. We've talked about it, but it's hard for people to not fathom, but just really understand what the difference in roster structures for certain places, especially when you're at the Big Ten and the resources you have money wise. But money doesn't always mean you win.
Right.
I'm not inferring that, but it doesn't hurt.
right.
If that's the point I'm trying to make. So it'll be curious to watch the rest of this tournament. Florida lost on a buzzer, not a buzzer. Yeah, basically a buzzer beater. It's a really good play that they ran too, because they were trying to foul. Florida was trying to foul. The kid should have went underneath the loop screen at the front. That's where he got caught behind. You always go underneath that in the front court just to keep him in front. And then how about the Dylan Darling kid? That was cool for St. John's.
Yeah, no, that
CV.
was really cool.
So 509 kid gets a bucket at the end of the game. Scores with his offhand and finishes. And he actually, he broke one of my scoring records, but it was like the average record. So the 1 year, I think it was a COVID year, they played the shortened season. I think they played like 15 games or something at CV, and he scored like 32 a game or something stupid.
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, so he owns that record as far as like single season. I don't think it's total points, maybe, but I know it's like the average. So congrats to him. I've talked to him once, I think. He's a nice kid. Everybody I've talked to says he's terrific. I know a couple guys that have been involved in his sphere. Went to Wazoo, I think, is the first stop.
Yep.
Like killed it his senior year. In high school, I think he basically had walked on. And then went to Idaho State, was absolutely terrific, entered the portal, ended up at St. John's having a terrific season.
Yeah.
So it's always cool to see guys that kind of squeeze water out of a rock, and that's not a knock on him, but you look at his size and stature and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, this kid's worked really hard.
Yeah.
And to see a kid, score a bucket like that, it was cool. I was watching live. I was like, oh, that's Spokane kid. You know what I mean? Like, and my family's like, what? I'm like, yeah, he went to CV, man. Like, he's homegrown. So cool situation for him. But yeah, it'd be fun to watch the rest of this tournament.
It will be. It'll be a really fun tournament. It is a shame that Gonzaga's not in it, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah,
you just got to move on and still enjoy good basketball. And
100%.
And 31-4. But like we'll do a recap at the end of the season because there's some other things that need to be addressed, just as far as interior players and what does the perimeter players look like, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of the rotations as far as, because I know people have questions about some of the guys, why they didn't play as much, and I'll just give you my thoughts. It won't be anything like, again, I'm not going to hot take or, what I mean?
Right.
Maybe that's a debt, but I'm not going to like clickbait or whatever, but I'm just going to give you my take on how I thought the season went for certain guys and when the drop off or the increased playing time happened for certain reasons. And it's going to be my opinion, but usually I'm right because I'm close to the team.
Yeah.
And so that'll be interesting if people want to kind of see because our biggest thing at the start of the year was depth. And then I remember I said it last episode, I'm like, then we were playing two true freshmen. So sometimes it's funny how that works. But I thought Davis had a terrific second half of the season. He's gonna be a good player, man.
He really is.
He's the one I'm most excited to see his growth from this year to next. He's got a lot to work on too, and that's not a knock. But like if he adds 3 or 4 things that just needs to tighten the screws on, he'll be really lethal.
He will be.
But he's got to improve his 3-point shot. That goes without saying. But like I think mechanically, it's got to improve a little bit. He's got to be able to come off with a hop and a 1-2. He's a 1-2 kid. I was a 1-2, but you got to be able to come off with a hop. And then I think he goes left a lot. He needs to go right a little bit more. That's just here nor there. I'm just talking out loud because I've seen it all. But as far as all of his games this season, so it's going to be a fun season next year. Thank you to our sponsors. We'll be back. What is it? April 5th or something like that. A couple weeks when the tournament's over. And like I said, we'll do a recap. Still working on one more interview. It's it's agents and stuff now. So if we say we're going to do it, it's not like we're not trying.
Right. Yeah.
We have to get shit approved now. And it's like, okay. And I get it. And it's totally fine. I'm always rooting for people to make money. But sometimes like, dude, it's just fucking hour podcast. Man. Just come down and just do it. And I'm not like national media where I'm like trying to get you. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, this fans want to hear where are you from?
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
I mean? Like, what's your background? So anyway, check out the Braden Huff interview if you haven't already. It's pretty good. And thank you to our sponsors, McGillivray Environmental, Idaho Central Credit Union, and 4CPS. See you next week.
Awesome.